All righty, here we are. We are in part two with Dr. Ananya Harvey. We're going to be working on non-ejaculatory full body orgasms for men and their partners who wish to support them. So in part one, which I probably have to rename when I have a chance, we went into the why and the 5 steps that are critical to succeed in moving from a life of quick climax type orgasms to a life where you are moving so much energy through your body as a man that it literally changes your life. It allows you to have more energy, more vitality, and it's such a deeper connection and deeper bond with your lover or lovers. And right now in this part two, we're actually going to go into some breathwork exercises, and I'm going to let the doctor lead the way.
Thank you, Shai. Okay, so what we were talking about is the first thing you have to do in order to develop these kinds of orgasms. You have to be very determined. But I know it's hard to be very determined and dedicated to something if you don't know what it is or you don't know what it might feel like. And for most men, the most pleasure they've ever experienced is in ejaculation from this one isolated part of their body. So what I'm going to do with Shai right now is teach you guys a technique for starting to learn to feel energy and pleasure move through your whole body in a different way. Now, for some of you, this might be very pleasurable. For some of you, it might just feel uncomfortable because it does require an element of surrender, just like full body orgasm requires an element of surrender. But just stick with it, and with practice, you can learn to make even just this breathwork an orgasmic process. I know that myself, I can go into breathwork, and without even touching myself, just from moving my hips, I can have waves and waves of energy orgasm.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is a very useful practice. And here I'm teaching you just a short little version of it. If you have asthma, any history of seizures, epilepsy, or severe mental illness, you should not do this. Please don't do this. And if you have any concerns at all, talk to your doctor before doing this practice that I'm about to give you. All right, so what it is it's a connected breath where you breathe in and out through your mouth with no pause between the inhale and the exhale or the exhale and the inhale. So it just looks like this. And you want to make the inhale and the exhale the same force. So you're not blowing out harder than you're sucking in. They have the same power. And I'm going to lead you through breathing in this way and directing it to different parts of your body. It might feel really, really hard. You might feel like you hit a wall in the first 2 minutes, but just commit to the breath the same way that you commit to your practice, and you will be able to keep going. I've done this for an hour or more.
Oh, my God.
Yes. The other thing that can happen is you're changing the oxygenation of your blood, and so it changes how your muscles work a little bit. So some people can get this feeling of cramping or very intense tingling or numbness in their hands, feet, or face. This is normal. Don't be alarmed, and it will go away as soon as you go back to normal breathing. All right. Do you have any questions?
I don't see anybody with questions. I want to invite anybody. I'm assuming women can do this as well.
Oh, yes. And women should do this. So it will also help you develop different kinds of orgasms. And yes, definitely.
So we invite you to do this. You can push pause if you're watching this later or now. Just find a comfortable place to lie on your back.
Yep. And we'll do this for about 10 minutes. Okay. You might want to have a blanket covering you. So I will be guiding you. It's very easy to start to disembody and go into fantasy during this practice, but we want to stay very embodied. So I will be guiding you to keep your focus on your body. Ready?
I am.
All right, so just open your mouth, relax your jaw, and let's start the connected breathing. Great. So just committing to the breath, even if your system is freaking out, just relax, keep going. You can do it. And if it feels very, very uncomfortable, and if you feel numb in a way that's overwhelming, slow the breath way down. But keep breathing. If, on the other hand, you feel tired and you're falling asleep, or you don't feel anything, then breathe faster. So finding your sweet spot, and you can change the speed at which you're breathing throughout this process. So now I want you to start scanning your physical body from your toes to the top of your head, and notice what pure physical sensations you feel, like warmth or tingling or contraction or expansion, and where. So scanning your body, noticing what is alive in your body. And every now and then you can speak out loud, Shai, what you feel in your body and where.
My feet feel a little tingly and cold.
Mm-hmm. Keep breathing. Anything else you're noticing?
Fingers are a little tingly.
Mm-hmm. Great. Anything else you notice in your head or neck area?
A little lightheaded.
Mm-hmm. Good. So now I'm going to invite you to keep breathing the same way, but move your breath and your focus into your lower belly, as if you're infusing this entire part of you with breath. You can put your hands on your lower belly. And I want you to actually notice what feelings are alive in your lower belly, whether it's expansion, tingling, it could be numbness, it could be you feel nothing. Just notice what you're feeling there. And on the exhale, start to sound the feelings, as if numbness had a sound. Yes. Great. And you can move your hips, you can shake your body as if you're just releasing whatever is alive there, letting it flow through you. Good. Now gently letting that go. I want you to now bring your focus and your breath to your entire pelvic area. So breathe in and out of your testicles, your perineum, your cock, your anus. Really paying attention to what's alive here for you, and exhaling with a sound. letting your body move as it wishes, allowing, welcoming whatever you find there. It might be sadness, it might be anger, it might be heaviness, it might be pleasure. Just being with what is. Yes. Letting it flow through your body. Remembering to keep the inhale, the exhale the same. And now, letting that go and draw your fingers up the center line of your body as if you're caressing yourself all the way up to your heart. Yes. And now put your focus and your breath into your heart. Noticing what sensations are alive in your heart. Maybe it feels tight. Maybe it feels expanded. And making a sound on the exhale to release those. You can also open your arms wide to open your chest and release whatever is in your heart. Yes. Keeping your jaw relaxed. And Shai is doing a really good job of sounding, but if for you the sounding comes less frequently, that's fine. If you have screams, if you have other kinds of sounds, that's also great. Just remember to breathe and keep your focus in your body. Now, moving your breath and your focus up to the center of your brain, behind the middle of your forehead where your third eye is. And you can release your arms up overhead. Keeping your eyes closed and breathing into your whole brain, feeling it light up with breath and awareness. Remembering to slow down if you need to. If it's overwhelming, you can always go. Yes. Yes. Say yes to whatever you're feeling, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's numbness. Let yourself surrender to the sensation. And now I want you to focus on breathing all the way down your central channel to your pelvic floor on the inhale, and exhaling all the way back up out the crown of your head. So inhale all the way down, exhale out. And you can move however you want. You can be completely free. You can move on your side. You can move however you want. Undulate your spine, move your hips. Awaken your entire being with breath. Yes, exactly. Yes. You can smile, you can move, you can shake, whatever you want. Put your arms wherever you want them. Yes. Last few seconds. Fantastic. Perfect. Beautiful. So you see how he's in touch with his body in an entirely new way. Yes, and just allowing and feeling the shakes and the energy, just opening, surrendering to whatever is arising. Yes. This is how you go toward full body orgasm. And now you can let the breath slowly come to an end. Coming back into normal breathing, in through the nose, out through the mouth slowly. How are you doing, Shai?
Getting a lot of tremors.
Mm-hmm. How does that feel to you?
I love it. Beautiful. It's delicious.
Good. Good. So this can happen to your body when you start to make love in different ways. Your body can be releasing things, stored energy. It's making new pathways. It's not something that we're used to seeing or that we're used to feeling, but it is part of the process. How are you doing now?
I don't know if you can see, but I'm incorporating something I learned from TRE. So it's just creating tremors in here, and it just all just kind of comes up. So I'm just playing with that a little bit.
Great. That's great. Yep. So take another minute or so to allow yourself to just come to rest. And if this process was really intense for anybody watching or practicing this, you can always resource in pleasure. Choose to find the safe place in your body. Choose to find what feels pleasurable in you right now and focus on that. And just breathing normally. Allowing yourself to come back to stillness. And if you need to cry, if you need to let something out, go ahead and let yourself do that. You can scream into a pillow. And slowly start to roll over onto your side in a little fetal position when you feel ready. Good. And how are you doing now?
I'm wonderful. I'm very relaxed.
Great.
I feel some energy move in my body now.
And then slowly start to push yourself up to come back to sit. Welcome back. So thank you for demonstrating this breath work.
It's my honor.
That was so beautiful. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that was like for you? Because there was a lot of shaking and energy moving, and I think a lot of people aren't used to experiencing that or witnessing it.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, I did go through that first 2 or 3 minutes of kind of like being bored and like losing interest and thinking like, oh, my mouth is just getting dry and nothing's happening. But I just kept doing it, like you said, just kept pushing through. And then when you started asking us to focus on certain areas, I started doing that, but nothing was really happening. Just putting my attention, down here, and then at my heart, and then up in my head, and then at some point, I just felt energy starting to move, and I personally recognize this energy because I've built some of these pathways already. So my body was just feeling energy move, and the tremors were like that energy just moving through my body. It's like electricity going through your body, and if you just relax into it, your body just has a way of just taking over, as opposed to like forcing it, keeping it from happening. If you just relax your body, your muscles will tremor from the energy, I think.
Yes, beautiful. Yeah, so Shai has some experience with breath work and with moving energy, so he was able to be with the process. So it is true that, so this is very similar to what can happen when you're developing non-ejaculatory orgasm. when you first start these processes, they might seem so subtle that you might not think anything is going on, and you might feel bored or uninterested, but you have to just commit and keep going, because you're training yourself to feel pleasure in a totally different way and open your body in a new way. And so you can see how once you pushed through that and then surrendered, then that allowed this experience of energy to move through your body.
Absolutely.
All right. So hopefully that gives you a taste of a different way of experiencing your body and pleasure. Are you game to do another practice?
I'm game for whatever you want to do. I'm excited.
Okay. It looks like we have a comment from Leah. I'm not able to respond.
She said, "Oh my." That's all I see from her.
Okay. All right. All right. So now I want to give you a little taste of just a simple thing that you can start to do right now when you're making love. If you want to try to start to move your energy in a different way. And it's just moving your energy in a loop through your body. So I'll instruct Shai in it right now. And it is inspired by the microcosmic orbit, which is a Taoist technique, but it's not exactly the same. That's a very complicated technique. And this is something simple that you can do while you're actually having sex.
Okay.
So I'll invite you, Shai, to either sit with your feet on the ground or sit cross-legged.
Okay.
And then to close your eyes. And I want you to start to inhale down into your pelvic floor. So inhale down and exhale straight up the center of yourself. So inhale down to your pelvic floor. Exhale straight up the center.
Am I doing through the nose, the mouth?
I like to do this through the nose, but it doesn't matter so much in the moment. Like when you're making love, you might be like, well, how do I breathe? It doesn't matter, just breathe. But for now, you can do in and out through the nose. And as you start to do this, see if you can find a way to generate some pleasure in your pelvis. It may or may not be accessible to you. See if you can move your hips a little bit. See if you can sort of squeeze the muscles around your cock. See if you can do something to just let yourself feel a little bit of turn on. And breathe down into the turn on and exhale it straight up and out the top of your head. And then inhale back down, feeling this pulsing ball of turn on at your pelvic floor, and exhale straight up the top of your head. Let's do this a little bit. Now, I like to do this straight up and down the central channel, but if it works better for you to do it in a loop, you can also inhale down the front of your body and then exhale up your spine. Inhale down the front of your body, exhale up your spine. And now, as you're inhaling down to the pleasure, when you exhale, I want you to squeeze your pelvic floor as if you could shoot the energy up using your muscles and your exhale. So inhaling down, exhale, squeeze, shoot it up. Relax your pelvic floor as you inhale back down. Exhale, squeeze, and shoot the energy up. How are you doing, Shai?
Good.
Okay. So we'll do that just a few times. And now, as you exhale, now actually I'm going to have you pause the breathing for a moment. So just pause and you can open your eyes. So now I want you to try squeezing two parts of your body. And this is a yogic technique that usually takes a while to learn, but I'm just teaching you a version of it. You're going to not only squeeze your pelvic floor, but you're going to move your abdomen in and up. So you're lifting your belly and your diaphragm in and up as best you can while you're seated. It's not an extreme motion. There's just a gesture upwards. So you squeeze your pelvic floor and move your tummy in and up, both of those at once. So let's practice a few times. On an exhale, inhale down, exhale, squeeze them up. Yes. Are you able to feel that?
Can you slow down the instructions for me? So I'm going to be inhaling, squeezing my belly in and up, and squeezing like my muscles down there as well.
Yeah, so you inhale down to your pelvic floor, and then on the exhale, you squeeze your pelvic floor muscles and you move your belly in and up.
While you exhale?
Yeah, while you exhale.
So inhale down.
Exhale, shoot the air up. Yes. If it's too much to squeeze both, you can just stick with squeezing your pelvic floor. Yes, great. So you can see how this is a very powerful way to move energy up, using your breath and your muscles in a very visceral way, right? So it's a strong signal to your physical body to move the energy up. Okay. You look like that was challenging.
Yeah, because I think it was opposite of what I was doing beforehand. So I'm going to breathe in. So it helps me to remember by just undulating my body a little bit. So I like breathe in and go down like. And then it's weird to breathe out and squeeze in at the same time. So it's like.
Oh, okay. Because for me, if I'm squeezing my belly in and up, that naturally pushes the air out.
Oh, so when I breathe in, I should expand my belly maybe? Okay. So it's.
And then exhale. It's like you're using your belly in and up to push the air out. Great.
Okay. And I'm squeezing like my perineum muscle at the same time. Okay. It's a lot to think about, but yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the simple version because this is something you can do while you're having sex. I mean, if you love the belly thing, I love the belly thing, but it may be too much if you haven't practiced it. So just go back to inhaling down to your pelvic floor and exhaling, squeezing the pelvic floor muscles as you shoot the air up. So inhale down to your pelvic floor and then exhale out, squeezing your pelvic floor. Yep. Inhale back down. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale down. Exhale, squeeze it up and out. So while you're having sex, you can imagine if you feel the pleasure building in your pelvic area, you can start inhaling down into the pleasure, exhale, squeeze, and breathe it up. And you can keep doing that repeatedly, inhaling down into it, exhale, squeeze, and move it up.
So what I've been doing in the past is not exhaling, just squeeze, like inhaling and just holding it and just squeezing it up. Is the breath out important?
It depends on the person. Everyone's going to have their own unique tool. So for some people, inhaling and then just squeezing it up might work really, really well. But I find for my own pleasure and energy, I need to use the squeeze and the exhale to like shoot it up.
It works for me. I mean, for me, it works. I know that I've been able to move energy just with the squeeze. So
great.
Like I'll come to the edge of ejaculation and then I'll stop and then I'll squeeze the energy up. Like I'll have a phase and then I'll go back to the movement and then come to the edge and then hold my breath and squeeze it up. But I want to try to incorporate more breath work. That's interesting.
It's advantageous to use the breath because when you start to breathe long and slow and deep, that activates your resting nervous system, which takes you away from ejaculation. It calms you down.
Interesting. This is kind of tying into the breath work that I told you, like the box breath that I do.
Yep.
So while I'm masturbating, what I do is let me think about it. What do I do? So I start off by doing breath work, and then as I'm pleasuring myself, when I get to so I do 6 breaths in as I'm
6 counts in, right?
Yes, I'm sorry, you're right. 6 counts in, so it'll be like
And then hold for 6.
And then I hold, and then I pump for 6 as I hold.
Yep. And then you
And,
exhale for 6.
and this is the time where I'm really edging.
Okay.
And then when I hit like the point of right before the point of no return, I exhale for 12.
Oh, yes. Yes. Excellent.
And then I tremor for like I literally tremor from the energy like moving. It's like I held it and then I'm moving it up and I'm letting it all release. And then I hold for 6 and then I repeat.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a trapezoid where you have like 6, 6, 12, and 6.
Trapezoid, yes.
I call it the trapezoid breath.
That's great.
So, is there anything about that count that resonates for you in terms of other breath sequences that you've seen that the out breath should be longer?
Well, yes. I mean, that's standard for getting someone's nervous system to calm down is that you make the exhale twice as long as the inhale.
Okay. But does the inhale and hold count? Like if I'm holding it, do I count that as like 6 plus 6 is 12 or just the inhale?
Just the inhale.
Okay. The hold doesn't count. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's a great practice. That's also very similar to practices that I know. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. There's probably so many different combinations you can kind of build your own.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Okay, so before we go, I just want to briefly address what your partner can do to support you in this practice.
Okay.
So, all right. So if your male partner undertakes a practice of non-ejaculatory orgasm, it can be really confronting for the woman and for you as a couple. Or even if your partner is not a female, it can be confronting for your partner. A lot of us as women, we are conditioned to get our sense of self-worth from being able to make our man ejaculate. So we as women, or whoever your partner is, if they have this conditioning, needs to really be open to doing their own self-inquiry work, to be willing to be doing their own changing the way they think about sex. It can also be very confronting because suddenly there's no longer a time limit to sex. You can make love for a lot longer probably, and if you don't know when it's going to end, it can be very vulnerable, right? It's like, okay, you know, how much time do we want to spend in this much intimacy, right? So it can bring up a lot of things between a couple. Like if there's some way in which you don't like each other or something that is simmering just under the surface, and suddenly you're like, well, now our sex is an hour long, and it can be very confronting. If you're like, I don't actually like this person right now, I need to process things. So undertaking this practice can have really deep ramifications on all levels of your relationship. So one of the things your partner can do to help you, first of all, is to do her own work, to not get her self-worth from your ejaculation. The second is learning to move her own energy. Because if your partner, and I'm defaulting to saying female here, but I do mean your partner can be any gender. Mm-hmm. If your partner is just used to building her own energy and localizing it in one area of her body, and doesn't have a practice of moving it throughout her system as well, it can be completely overwhelming to you as a man, and it can cause you to fail to be able to pull back from the point of no return. So she needs to start to really tune into you, and you guys need to use the pleasure scale together. The pleasure scale, I mentioned before, it's like as if 1 is the man's not hard and 10 is you're ejaculating. When you first undertake this practice of having sex and developing non-ejaculatory orgasm, you want to keep your pleasure in the range of 5 to 7. So your partner needs to tune into your body and your pleasure and be like, hey, hun, where are you on the scale? And this is the nerdy part that I love. It's like, what number are you at? What number are you at?
5.5.
It's like, okay, we can keep going. And if you say, oh my God, I'm at a 7, help me, she needs to know to lay off, to stop building her own energy, to move it through her body. Mm. And then the next thing she can do is to help you feel pleasure in different kinds of your body by putting her hands like up your back, constantly running her fingers up your spine, reminding you to move the energy up, even putting her hands on the top of your head, reminding you to focus the energy up there, right? So helping you just move everything up and towards your head. Let's see.
Awesome stuff.
Thanks. And the last thing is for her to explore different kinds of orgasms. So just as for men, the ejaculatory orgasm can be about tensing and trying really hard and focusing energy in one part of the body. But non-ejaculatory orgasm is about surrendering and opening and allowing. For women, the same thing can happen. So we can have clitoral or even G-spot orgasms that require a lot of effort and tensing and focusing, and we really build the energy in one area. Mm-hmm. But if you go into sex and instead of doing that, you focus on opening, allowing, and inviting the energy to move through your body, you can have an entirely different kind of orgasm. Mm. Also a full body orgasm, just like the man could. So those are my main tips for having a supportive partner. And of course, please don't beg your partner to ejaculate.
That's so counter to what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think that there comes a point too where your energies start to flow with each other. Like the two creeks become a river, if you will. And they come together and you essentially feed off of each other's energy and are able to move it up together. That's the most delicious experience because that's the merging of your souls, right? In a way.
Yes, there you go. And that's actually, for me, what this is all about, is dissolving into that oneness together.
Mm. Now, if we can just get the whole planet to do that, like everybody dissolve into everybody, we'd have all this goodness. So this is great. Thank you so much. Are we missing anything? Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I do teach practices for learning to move your energy together in my one-on-one coaching with people, as well as the step-by-step process for learning to develop non-ejaculatory orgasm.
Absolutely. So just the Open Relationship Academy is unlike our Leveled Up Love group, is a deeper dive. So it comes in stages. We do these master classes. And then for those who are interested in deeper dives, feel free to email me. Shai, S-H-A-I, at leveleduplove.com. And what ends up happening is we try to match you with the right practitioner, the right coach, the right tantrika. We have coaching. We're building a team that can coach in conscious communication, sacred sexuality, open relationships specifically, trauma release, plant medicine. We're gonna have a superhero team. We've already got, I think, about 8 coaches signed up. Actually posted. I think our announcement has a link to the page where all of our coaches are. So here in our group, if you go to announcements on top, you'll see a link that we've created. It's a temporary link where all our coaches are sitting. You can check out their bios. I'm not sure if we got you in there yet. Do we have you in there yet? Do you know?
I sent that information to you, but I haven't checked if it's there.
All right. We'll make sure that it gets there.
Thank you.
And you are so amazing, so clear, so logical and organized. And anybody that works with you is going to benefit in ways they can't even imagine.
That's what my clients say. So.
And I don't blame them. I'm sure that's the outcome. So thank you so much. Thank you also. You were a little bit under the weather and you showed up. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
And we got to stay in close touch. And we're about to explode in the next year. So be ready for us.
Thanks so much, Shai. And let me know if you have any more questions. And thanks everyone who's chiming in to listen and watch.
Thank you. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.